Hi, folks, and welcome to their Saturday morning Samoflange. I'm Matt.
And I'm Mikey.
That's pretty good.
We got good chemistry.
We do. It's like we've done this before.
Yeah, Benjamin, watch out.
No. Yeah, I got, as the kids say, ghosted. He's been kind of MI. He's been busy though.
He has been busy. I just saw him in a show a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
And he's,
Yeah, everyone knows. That's why I had to do it a little bit. Then I was gone for a while, so I just had to record some solo ones real quick. But
it's been a wild summer. Thanks for inviting me back.
It's been a cruel summer. Now you're gone.
Banana-rama.
Bananas. All right. So, hey. You know, we've done music before on our podcast, but we've never done albums that are good from first to last track.
Well, why have we not done that, Matt?
And I know. It's kind of weird. In fact, I want to say this. We did bands, I remember a long time ago.
Sure.
Surely we had talked about this way back in the day.
One would think.
But I don't remember it.
I don't either.
And I don't know why we didn't. But what got me thinking about this is on the way down to the beach trip, I was listening to an album, and I turned to Meg and said, you know what? There's not a single track I would skip. I mean, each song is like, bam, I love it. Bam, I love it. And that's very rare. Now, by the way, on my list, it does not have best of. That's cheating.
Right.
Obviously, best of.
Sure, no greatest hits.
You know, like Aerosmith's big ones, you know. I mean, that's a great album. But it's all their hits.
Right.
You know, and I didn't pick soundtracks.
Right, that's different category.
Although I will say this, Dumb and Dumber, pretty solid. There are a few ones that I could skip, but it's pretty solid.
The Merry Moon song.
The Merry Moon, there's a lot of things. You know, Hooray for Peter Pumpkinhead, Whiny Whiny, you know, Where I Find My Heaven. There's just a lot of good stuff on that one. I still listen to it, obviously.
Fairly Brothers in the 90s were really, really good at picking music for their movies.
And though I don't remember it, I don't remember what songs were on it. The Idle Hands soundtrack, I remember, was really good. As a forgotten movie now, but I remember the soundtrack being like killer.
Yeah.
You know, so I eliminated soundtracks. I wasn't going to let those count because a lot of times they are picking the best.
Right.
They are picking
They
the
are
best.
curated for the movie.
Exactly.
But now, to your point, though, right?
Yes.
So the art of the album, that is a lost art. I do believe that, and much like movies, to me, music isn't what it used to be. Almost more than movies. There's probably more movies and TV shows these days that I tolerate over music. I do believe that music has a lot of just hits. It's a lot like wrestling these days, where it's like high spot after high spot. They don't really care about like continuity. Telling a story.
The studio, your agent makes you put 3 hits on there, and then you can sing whatever rubbish you want.
Right.
And it's night and day, a lot of these newer albums. Like, you can always pick 1 or 2 or 3 songs, but other than that, the rest of it's just garbage, and that's the stuff that they wanted to put on there. That's the stuff the artist wanted to put on there. Everything else is not everything, but there's manufactured songs that are supposed to be that hits. But I get it, you have to sell.
Right. So that leads us to, what is our list today?
Best albums from first to last track. I can't remember. Best albums you can listen to all the way through.
Is that what we're doing? Are we doing
where every song is a hit?
Albums where every song is a hit from start to finish.
To us. Like, there's not a single thing you would be like,
you wouldn't skip it.
Yeah, I wouldn't skip it.
No, now, it flows.
Generally, I say this, I do listen to an album all the way through. That's just been my policy. I rarely skip.
You bought it. There's songs on there.
There are certain albums I'm like, that's a hit. That's a hit. That's a hit. That's a hit. And now that I say that, oh man. No, I'm going to keep my list.
So, how many crossovers are we going to have? Not counting honorable mentions, because
are you ready?
Full disclosure, I have quite a few honorable mentions.
Okay, not counting honorable mentions. Do you want me to go first or you?
With our picks?
No, our crossover picks.
Yeah, with our crossover picks. I'm going to say 1.
Dang it! I was going to say, oh, sorry. I was going to say my little boy scared him there.
And I know the one looking in your eyes. I know the one.
I know we have one.
We have one.
So I'm going to be bold and say 2. Because I know it's not 0.
We could have 2.
I would be floored if we don't have 1.
No, we have 1.
Okay. But I'm going to say 2. It's a snowball's chance. Not a snowball's chance, but it is. Do you want me to go first? You go first.
I think you should go first.
I'll go first. Okay, so my first is not one on your list. In fact, it's not embarrassing. I'm not embarrassed by it, but I love it. Whatever by Hot Chili Ray Ray.
I don't even know that album.
Whatever.
Who is Hot Chili Ray Ray?
They were a one-hit wonder, and but that whole album for some reason just pops for me, and it's just stupid. I think they were supposed to be, I don't know, the not a boy band, but pop, the pop band, whatever.
What year are we talking about for Hot Chili Ray Ray?
Oh, you know what? This has got to be early 2000s, maybe mid.
Okay, some pop punk kind of stuff?
Nah, yeah.
Boy band, pop?
No, pop. We'll play on current music radio.
Okay.
Pop, pop, not pop rock, really. More poppy, bubblegum pop than anything. But for some reason, all the songs hit on that. For me, and it's an unknown one.
I like that you got a bubblegum pop album to start off with.
That's the only one that's really.
No, I like that. That feels good.
Hold on, yeah. That is the only one that is so different from everything else I have on this. But when I was thinking about my albums that I have and my Amazon Music that I've downloaded the entire album on, I looked at this one and went, actually, I looked through each song. Yeah, I belt out every song.
As the kids would say these days, bangers. All of them are bangers.
There you go.
Man,
bangers.
Matt.
It's not what it meant when we were kids. But anyway.
Nope.
Bangers meant potatoes when we were kids.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
That's what I thought too.
My number 5,
What's
Matt.
Number 5?
My number 5 is one of my favorite albums of all time. Now, I will just go ahead and say this, is that I did not pick my favorite albums.
Wait. Your favorite album of all time is number 5.
No. I said it's one of them.
Okay, go ahead.
And then it just made me think about throwing out this kind of little disclaimer here that I truly did pick albums that I do believe the songs are great from beginning to end. It's just that they kind of coincide with my favorite albums for that reason. They, it's a bunch of bangers. Why wouldn't they be my favorite, Myatt?
Right.
So number 5 is Dookie by Green Day.
That is a good one.
For me,
okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
there's a lot of solid songs on that one.
That album is very important to my teenage years. When I was that album came out when I was probably 14 or 15, and I wasn't necessarily into alternative or punk stuff like that. I mean, I liked Nirvana, I liked Pearl Jam, but I wasn't really hip to the skater scene or so I didn't actually know anything about Green Day until that album hit, and of course it blew up. I mean, it was huge. It had tons of songs. It made stars out of Dookie and Billy Joe Armstrong, out of Green Day, and but I could put that album on today, and that's kind of what I wanted to look at this list and say, I'm a very nostalgic person, but if I put this album on today, would I still listen to it from beginning to end?
Exactly.
And yes. I do with that. I still listen to that album if I'm on the elliptical, if I'm doing something in the garage, I'll just put it on and it'll go.
Every song is
every song. I love it.
That's it. That counts.
And that particular album actually has songs that bleed into each other. When you do listen to it, they transition from one to the next. It's not a fade out and a fade in.
Yeah.
They just kind of keep on going, and it just gets me hyped. It's fun. It's poppy. It's punky. It's lively. It's spunky. Love it.
That little punk rock stuff was I was big on all that.
Yeah. That's actually a very guilty pleasure of mine. I love pop punk.
Still am today. Newfound Glory.
Oh, great.
Which I tried to find an album of theirs that made the list, but I had to be fair because these other ones were just everyone a solid hit.
Right.
And theirs were good.
Right.
But,
just not
top
top 5 good.
Yeah, not top 5
That's
good.
fair.
Number 4. Oh, here we go. Let's do this. Ready? Jagged Little Pill.
Oh, I love that album.
It's not on your top.
It's not on my top 5, but I love it.
No,
that's a great album.
Egad, I have lost. I thought that was the one crossover. I know another one we could still cross over on, but wow, I thought Jagged Little Pill, and that was the album Megan and I were listening to. I said, you know what? Every song, I turned to Megan and said, every song on this album is just, it hits. It's
100%.
And then that's when I said, I need to make this list. But of course, it makes number 4.
Right.
It's kind of wild, but I knew it was going to make the list just because every song Megan and I knew by heart. We hadn't listened to this album in years, by the way. We knew it by heart, boom.
Yep.
Belting it, even the non-hits, belting it out because it is amazing.
It was so popular when it came out, and that actually came out the same year that Dookie did. Like that, I was a freshman in high school.
What year was that?
It was like 93, 94.
What a great year for music.
No, yeah. I mean, if it wasn't the same year, it might have been the year after. I just remember that time in my life. Those were two of the biggest albums.
Oh, my Lanta. I swore that was on your list.
Nope. But there's another one from that same year.
We got another one. So you go ahead and give me number 4 because, oh, man. I'm kind of embarrassed I struck out there on that one.
Okay, number 4, I'm going back a little bit even older than that.
Okay.
But I challenge anyone out there that doesn't know the actual songs on this album, when you hear the name of it, go look up the songs on this album. And whether you like this artist or not, whether you like these songs or not, I guarantee you that you will know every single one of them. And it's one of these rare albums where it's a studio album. It was the 5th studio album by this artist, by the way, in the late 70s. And it looks like a greatest hits album. It's that good. And that is The Stranger by Billy Joel.
Oh, okay. All right. You know what? I don't think I've ever heard that entire album. I've heard songs from it, but not...
I am a huge fan of Billy Joel.
Okay.
I think he's one of the best songwriters of all time.
I have some Billy Joel on my downloaded music, so yes.
He is, from that time. I mean, he's in the Music Songwriting Hall of Fame. He's in like the Music Hall of Fame for many different reasons, probably as an artist and as a writer. But I just love his music. I actually heard a quote today from somebody at work, and he was talking about music, and he said that George Jones said that when you're happy, you listen to the music. Whenever you're sad, you understand the lyrics.
Wow, that's a nice little quote there.
It was a very profound quote, and it makes a lot of sense. And when you listen to Billy Joel's lyrics, you don't necessarily have to be sad, but he writes songs, or I guess he still does write songs, but these songs that he wrote back in the day are just leaps and bounds better than commercial stuff. He was just writing from the heart. He was writing to tell stories, and it really shines through.
I have one that made my honorable mention. I'll explain why later on, but it has a really good song that seems whimsical and silly, but then takes a good lesson. It kind of settles into being a little bit serious and just really thoughtful at the end, and you find out the whole thing was just about, you thought it was a silly story, but it's actually a real life experience, and it's amazing. I just listened to the album, and I almost had it on my top 5, but then I realized it's going to fall short.
Right.
Fall short just because of some other songs on there.
Oh, there's quite a few honorable mentions that just fall short because there's so many good albums.
There's so many good albums, by the way. Yeah. Number 3 for this guy right here. Number 3. Here we go. Dangerous by Michael Jackson.
Not on my list.
Oh, no.
But.
Oh, no. Okay, you do have a Michael Jackson on there, though.
Well, you might hear that name a little later.
Okay, all right. Okay. I think I know which one, but I'm going to say Dangerous, and here's why. And I had to double check because I listened to all these albums before I made my picks. Dangerous was the first album I bought on... No, it wasn't. That's a lie. It was Weezer, the first album I bought on tape. This must have been the second one. It was a big one, and... just the songs in here hit. I listen to this on my Walkman all the time.
Hit after hit after hit.
Mowing grass, it was on repeat. I did not bring any other tapes to switch out, which usually you do if you're mowing grass, or that's what I did for all the summer job. I'd switch out tapes. Every time we got a new house to do, I'd switch out and get a new tape. Not when it was Michael Jackson's Dangerous.
Nope.
Listen to the whole album.
I had to listen
back
to
Jam.
Front. I had to listen to Black or White.
Yeah.
In the Closet.
Even the smaller ones, yeah.
Remember the Time?
Yeah,
that was my favorite song on that
Ain't
entire...
Too Much for Me to Jam. I mean, they're just... The Highway. Nah, she's got the look.
Oh, yeah.
She's so fine. Remember the Time? Do you remember? There's a lot of hits from that one album, too. The girl is so dangerous. I mean, and it was like, man, every song was just, even the slow ones was just, it was good. You got a lot of good beat ones, and then it let you cool down.
Well, not taking anything
like
away
a workout,
from...
gave you a little cool down with the smooth one.
Well, when you look at Michael Jackson's discography, particularly his 3 big ones,
Yes.
all 3 are perfect albums. Like there's not
there are some other ones that were good.
Right.
Yes, I know which one you may be talking about, but yes, there's some other ones, and I thought about them all, but that one just I know for me,
Sure.
it was just one I just listened to all the time. Never got tired of it. Listened to it again. It's like, no, I still enjoy it. There is a lot of nostalgia tied into these picks. We should mention that.
Oh, for sure.
Obviously.
There's
That
nostalgia
that goes
baked
without
into
saying.
everything that I do.
That goes without saying. But yeah, Michael Jackson's Dangerous, just solid album. All right, number 3.
All right, I'm going to cheat on number 3.
Ooh.
I am.
All right.
I'm going to make you allow me to cheat. Because,
Are you saying there's a tie?
well,
And you're going to put a 2 and a 1?
it's a 2-pack, right? I have to put
Okay.
these 2 together.
A Tupac?
Yes. Tupac Shakur. Even though they are vastly different albums, and the one that I like more is not the name that I have written down, I think it's fair to just put these together. So the name that I have written down, number 3, is The Blue Album by Weezer. But I'm going to put Pinkerton in with that and wrap them into a combo piece. Because Pinkerton is by far my favorite Weezer album. But I need to put these 2 together because they're both perfection.
Okay. They are both perfection. And that is number 1. And when I had to choose one, I
Right.
chose Pinkerton.
See, I chose the Blue Album.
You have to choose the Blue Album because it's every
right.
song's a classic. But Pinkerton, I agree, is the superior album, and it's amazing. Across the Sea, the stuff that never went, to what singles. Across the Sea is beautiful, and Butterfly, get out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
If you don't know Butterfly, get it. What it's the perfect way to end an album. There's very few albums that end like
here's
Butterfly.
what's interesting, right? And here's, I think, why I put the Blue Album, because it was more commercially successful.
I have no argument with this.
I do 100% agree that Pinkerton is the better album. If I was stuck on a deserted island and I could only have one album out of the 2, I would pick Pinkerton all day long. But what you just said is interesting to me because my favorite Weezer song of all time is Only in Dreams, and that's the way they end the Blue Album. So when I
That's
look at
a good way.
when I look at ending either one of those albums, as great as Butterfly is, like I almost have to give the edge to Only in Dreams because that song is just
Only in Dreams is great because it feels like I love the fade out and the fade back in to say, no, we're coming back. The album had an encore in their last song, which is incredible to me. I love both these albums. But for me, Butterfly is like party's over, lights out. This is
Right.
the last call song
Right.
before we go away. And if you know what Rivers was going through afterwards, even that was not the intention, it feels like the end. And for the longest time, it was the end of Weezer.
It was kind of the end because that was Matt Sharp's end.
Yeah, true.
And
But it was it almost felt later on, after all, like an unintentional goodbye,
right.
which was just amazing. So, I mean, both of them are great. Only in Dreams is perfect because that one goes on forever, but it never overstays its welcome. It's like I Am the Greatest Man That Ever Lived. That song off the Rebel is so good. It's so good. How can you have like how many 8-minute song or whatever it is? And I heard that Guitar Hero added that a long time ago. I was like, yes, they did.
Have your fingers ready.
It's so good. Yeah, for real. But when they go long like that, it doesn't get old. You're not like tired when the ends. And that's what Only in Dreams does. Blue Album is classic. Every song on there is bona fide. I had it as my number 1, but then talking with Jordan, my brother, he said it's gotta be Pinkerton.
Yeah.
And so we started breaking down the songs and everything. I was like, yeah, it's got to be Pinkerton.
Get you?
I got to be honest
tired
with myself.
Of sex?
Everything. El Scorcho was great. I remember watching
Pink
MTV,
Triangle,
counting down when the newest song video was going to come out, and I saw it as like, Weezer is back, baby, and then they disappeared.
Video.
Yeah.
Now that's a good idea.
Oh, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more.
What's your number 2, sir?
Oh, number 2. Number 2. for this guy.
Who
right here.
does number two work for?
So this is a Hail Mary, because I don't know if you'll have this on here, but you got one, so you're going to win. But so this is my last one here. Presidents of the United States, their self-titled album.
Oh my God, Lump. Yeah, Peaches.
Everything. Naked and Famous.
It's so
Are you
good.
Kitty, Doom Buggy.
Oh, Dune Buggy.
Just, you know.
Little blue Doom Buggy in the sand.
It's just so good.
And what an interesting, peculiar, fun, like, just album that's a part of that zeitgeist only. Like, it's just a part of that time in life, and then it's just gone.
But every single song is a ditty that you can shake an ankle to and sing every song right along. If my brother was here, Jeremy, this would be his number one pick. I'm almost, well, he may pick something by Radiohead, never mind. But this would be in his top 5. By the way, no Radiohead was picked in mine.
Well.
Oh, no, you don't.
I mean, it's one of my favorite bands of all time.
Is Radiohead on here? Did they have a perfect album?
They have a couple of perfect albums. But
okay, but they didn't make the list.
It's an honorable mention.
All right, so number 2.
Number 2 for me, Appetite for Destruction. I mean, from beginning to end, just every song, wonderful.
That was number 6.
Yeah.
That was number 6. I really wanted to put GNR in there, and I really thought that would match up better with the rest of my albums, because Chili Ray Ray is the little odd kid that got invited to the party and everyone thought it was an accident. But when I had to be true to myself, I said, no, I can sing those songs a little bit harder.
Well, to me, that is the
Appetite for Destruction is...
It's the last best hard rock album I think that's been made. You know, just in my opinion, like this, just kind of this style that's just not made anymore. A 5-piece band, very elaborate. You know, because that was made in '87, and just a couple years after that, Nirvana hit, and then music changed forever when it came to rock. Very alternative, and then grunge, and then punk, and yada yada yada. And so it's just this kind of. It was kind of talking about end of an era. You know, and it was different than the rock that came before it, but I think it was the last classic kind of rock. Yeah, this kind of classic, like right in a time where there was a lot of metal, there was a lot of Megadeth, and there was a lot of Metallica. And
that is why grunge took over, because rock had nowhere to go when Appetite Destruction came out. All the other rock bands went, well, dang it.
It was a mic drop. It was like,
a mic drop, yes.
Beat this, and they haven't, 25 years, 35 years later.
I know Slash and Axl hate each other.
Well, but not anymore.
Well, I know. But apart, they're not good. Apart, they're just not good. I call them fake Guns N' Roses, always was missing something.
Yeah.
And then Slash on his own or with the band, it's not good without Axl.
Let me tell you something. I'll give you a little story real quick here. So I had an opportunity in 2017 to go see them in concert, and I did it. I was in San Antonio.
You did?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I did it.
You have to.
Yeah, and I loved every second of it. Axl, it was right. They started to come back. Axl, a couple years before that, was like Fat Axl, if you remember those memes.
I remember Fat Axl.
Well, he wasn't really that way then. He sounded good. He sounded fine. Now, growing up, I really loved Axl. Like, he's one of my favorite rock singers of all time. His look, his attitude.
He was Stacey Jacks.
Oh, yeah. His voice, like, he had the low register, he had the high register, the sway. I mean, they were a band.
Taking the mic stand and swaying with it.
He had charisma. He
did.
And
exuded it.
And he was crazy, and he is crazy. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of Guns N' Roses stuff is brilliant, is because he kind of rode that fine line in between crazy and genius. Axl has always been Guns N' Roses to me, always. But when I saw them in concert, it shifted for me, and I realized just how important Slash really is and was to that band. When you watch it live and you see what he does and what he brought to those songs, and how so much of that guitar work is just his genius.
Yes.
If he wouldn't have been there, as great as Axl was, then we wouldn't be talking about it right now.
Nope.
It's just a marriage.
The Spock to his Captain Kirk.
Had to have it.
That's exactly what they were.
Yep.
Unbelievable team. I wanted to put Appetite of Destruction on here, but I just couldn't. That's a great one.
So your number one, I sniped.
Yes, you sniped me at number one. So go ahead. What's your number one?
You know my number one. I mean, it's the best album of all time. There is not a bad song on it, and I will go to my grave. I hope that I should
have guessed this.
I hope this tombstone is actually just the cover of this album. Just a half black, half white man in a white suit, kind of just laid up.
There you go.
Thriller by Michael Jackson.
Which is technically the best album of all time because it's the best still and will ever be. It will never be beaten.
As far as sales, probably
sales,
not.
Never. Never.
Because it's still being sold.
Yeah, still being sold.
I can't say anything about that hasn't been said before. I love Thriller. I love Bad. I love Dangerous. I actually love them all equally. But if you're looking for like...
Bad was the other album I was thinking about,
it's
too.
so good.
It is
Thriller
great.
has just the hit after hit after hit after hit after hit.
It's almost
after
like
hit.
an Essentials album.
It is an Essentials album. It's very close to that Stranger album as far as being like, this could be a greatest hits album. Every single song all of them. They all had radio play, except for maybe one.
Here's the thing. It's a shame that the song Thriller overshadows every other song on that album. People don't realize. They think, oh, yeah, Thriller. Yeah, I know Thriller. Yeah, you all know Thriller. Mm-hmm. But you need to experience the album.
You do.
And in fact, I would suggest they skip Thriller for now and just focus on the other music.
Well,
I like Thriller. Thriller's great.
My favorite pop song of all time, Billie Jean, is on that album. I think it's the most purest, perfect pop song that's ever been written. But it has the hits. It's got Billie Jean. It's got Beat It. It's got Thriller. It's got PYT. It's got Human Nature. It's got The Girl Is Mine with Paul McCartney. I want to be starting something.
That was Paul McCartney. Okay.
Come on. That's...
The daggone girl is mine.
Oh, it's so good.
It's great.
So, do you have any honorable mentions, sir?
Yes, I do. I have a few honorable mentions here. I want to talk about one that no one knows, Zebrahead, Waste of Mine.
I've heard of Zebrahead, but I don't know this album.
That's one of their first albums. It was perfect. Oh, boy. I hate this, but Meghan Trainor's Meghan Trainor.
Is
first
that the
album.
One that's got
the first
all
album.
About the bass?
Yeah, all about that bass. Megan left it.
I like that song.
I just got good memories because Megan left it in my CD player when I went to Gen Con one year, and that's all that was playing. I did not change it out, and I didn't bother to. And then I started enjoying the album. And, man, this one missed it by one song. And I thought, man, it's an okay song, but it's going to miss out. James Taylor was about to make my list, too.
Oh, okay.
New Moon Shine.
Okay.
Which was 91, I can't remember, but it is unbelievably good.
Awesome.
Unbelievably good. There is a song on there, you talk about Billy Joel, makes you think. One is the Frozen Man. Frozen Man is where he's talking about this guy that wakes up from the Ice Age or whatever, and all his wife and kids are dead and gone. He's in a strange world and everything. Then the last stanzas are, I know what it's like to freeze to death, to lose a little life with every breath. He tried to kill himself back in the early. He tried to kill himself back in the early 70s when his girlfriend and him broke up.
Oh, and
he goes, I know what it's like to lose a little life with every breath, to say goodbye to life on earth, to walk the world again. And then he does, of course, Lord have mercy on the frozen man. So it's basically him. Fantasizing about a character that's really he can connect with his own personal
That's not
life.
a bad James Taylor impression. Maybe you should play him one day.
Oh, man, but it is a beautiful... Because I was listening to I was singing along, belting along to everything. I was like, man, this is good. And then listening to Frozen Man again, I was like, oh, man, there's just some... And my dad used to listen to James... Well, he still does. So there's a lot of good James Taylor, but that New Moon Shine is, close to perfection. But go ahead. What you got?
I probably could have a million honorable mentions. The few that I put down, I will start with Radiohead, OK Computer. In all honesty, that probably is a better album than half of what I've got on my list. But for me, it's an honorable mention. I love it. It was a different time in my life, but I put that song, that CD on and listened to it from beginning to end for many, many, many months. But the reason why I did was because I was usually high. And it's just a darn good album when you're high.
There you go. What else?
Which,
by the way, OK Computer is probably their most famous album, would you say?
I would say that maybe the Bends might be...
Okay.
Either the Bends or OK Computer.
Okay.
I think it kind of depends on... who you are. Like, OK Computer is probably considered their greatest, but they're two completely different albums.
Yeah.
Master of Puppets is a perfect album from beginning to end. I'm a huge Metallica fan. It's hard to pick which one because the Black Album is such a great album.
Oh, well, the Black Album, in my opinion, is a little bit better. Master of Puppets is excellent.
All right. This one is interesting. I love this. I once said that this is the best $10 I ever spent. Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park. I really love that album, and from beginning to end, it's just great.
I loved it, but I need to listen to it again.
Yeah, it's one of those that just, and I'm not the biggest Linkin Park fan or anything, but that song just kind of hits on every level for me. And I bought it used in Dallas for $10 back in like 2001. Parachutes by Coldplay. Love that album. I think from beginning to end, it's wonderful. Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. You can't go wrong with that. If you
Everyone likes that one.
Yeah, it's one of the classics. I had Bad on here, but we already talked about Bad. So
Bad's good too.
Yeah,
Nice. All right, folks. So let us know in the comments, what albums do you think are good? Hey, there's a grand possibility we've forgotten a ton of them.
Oh, for sure.
Because I have a sick feeling in my stomach that I've forgotten one that someone's going to mention and be like, ugh.
Oh yeah. But hey, I'm just thankful that we lived in a time that we could listen to all of these.
Yeah, no,
we've got it's a good problem to have.
Great age of music we've lived through.
Yeah, it was.
All right, hey folks, we'll see you next time on Saturday morning.
Samoflange.
Beautiful.